Hi, my name is Sylvia Orozco. I'm the Executive Director of Mexicarte Museum. Today, Mexicarte Museum proudly opens the exhibition ELA, Emerging Latinx Artists 25, Intersección, Choque y Alivio, Intersection, Shock, and Relief. Before we talk about today's exhibit, we do want to have a moment of silence as we remember our loved ones, many of them young adults who have passed away due to the pandemic, and for victims of the social injustice. We stand in solidarity with Black Lives Matter movement in opposition to violence, discrimination, and the economic and social injustices. Let us pause for a few moments. This year, Mexicarte celebrates 25 years of YLA, now renamed as ELA. The museum was created by Latinx artists in 1984 because of the need to have a place to exhibit and work. The Emerging Latinx Artists exhibit today carries on this tradition of supporting young and emerging artists. This exhibition brings together some of the finest artworks currently being produced in Texas. Together, we are fulfilling our mission to educate the public about the rich presence and importance of Latinx art in Texas and providing a space for dialogue. The purpose of ELA at Mexicarte is also to promote young, talented artists and curators in Texas. Each year, a curator is chosen to find artists, visit studios, look at artwork, and possibly pinpoint or discover new trends and ideas. This way, the exhibit provides insights to new issues and concerns we face today. Each year, one of the most exciting and energetic exhibitions of the season is developed. 2020 exhibition is a reflection of our economic times and how artists are responding. This year's ELA 25 is curated by Dr. George Vargas. Dr. Vargas graduated from the University of Michigan, Ann Arbor with a PhD in American Studies, Ethnic Studies, Latin American Studies, and Art History. Previously, Dr. Vargas worked at Texas A&M Kingsville as a professor of art history and campus gallery curator. We as artists and as a cultural institution are about creating. Everyone is born with creativity. We are here to nurture and develop this creativity. I would like to commend the artists for their work and their decisions to pursue careers in art. I thank all the artists and Dr. Vargas for their energy and enthusiasm and interest in the Mexicarte Museum. We would like to recognize the Austin Arts Commission under the auspices of the City of Austin, the Texas Commission for the Arts, and the National Endowment for the Arts for support of this exhibition. I would also like to recognize the Mexicarte Museum staff, who has worked behind the scenes tirelessly and endlessly many hours to create this exhibition as a success in every way. Art inspires and beautifies our lives. We invite you to visit Mexicarte Museum in person or virtually to see the 25th annual ELA exhibition, Intersección, Intersection. Thank you.
My name is Dr. George Vargas, Curator and Director of Programs at Mexicarte Museum in Austin, Texas. Today we present Emerging Latinx Artists 25. We selected 10 Texas-based artists to talk about different issues such as immigration, the border, Black Lives Matter, and so forth. We also asked them to consider the shared experience of America, which has been heavily impacted by the pandemic. Featured artists include Jose Villalobos, Suzy Gonzalez, Pilo with Jellyfish Collective, Michael Mancheca, Michael Anthony Garcia, Hatziel Flores, Hope Mora, Ashley Mireles, Alejandro Macias, and Yareth Fernandez. We also commissioned 3 muralists to produce 2 murals on the outside wall of the museum. The first mural project is painted by Niz and Sade Lawson, local muralist. We also commissioned Kristen Apodaca from El Paso to produce the second mural that will talk about the pandemic and how it's affected the local Latinx community. Enjoy the videos. Thank you.
My name is Michael Anthony Garcia. I'm an artist and independent curator based in Austin, Texas. My practice is multidisciplinary in nature, focusing on sculpture, installation, photography, video, and performance, via which I explore my personal stories and histories and my navigation of the human condition. Much of my work explores the layers of my identities and the way the world interacts with me because of them, and the way I respond to the world through them, in a Latinx futurism that is grounded in a utopian projection of positivity. A lot of my practice involves collaging in one way or another, either through images or objects or ideas, and I explore through practices, as one would yoga, to embody an emotional positivity. I consider myself an activist at heart, using protests or actions or my artwork as a way to speak to subjects I think our society needs to address in further depth. I have been very fortunate to have had many amazing experiences through both visual and performance art, and a lot of that ties back to my relationship with Mexicarta Museum and the ELA program specifically. In fact, if you were to follow the trajectory of my career, there's a definite vector line that leads back to the museum. My relationship with the museum goes back to ELA 11, actually, where I was a participating artist, and I met two of my co-conspirators in Los Outsiders, a curatorial collective that still produces work to this day. 7 years later, I was asked to curate YLA 18, where I also met a third co-conspirator in Los Outsiders. Both of those were enriching experiences as an artist and a curator, which have led to other projects. In ELA 25, one of the pieces that I'm sharing is Away with Words. The piece uses isolated text that I've acquired from source t-shirts from all across Austin as a way of connecting us through the words and the unspoken that we experience every day on our clothing. And I've taken that text and written poems that are now displayed as an installation, a sculptural installation in the space. In the exhibition, I'm also sharing a video piece entitled Star-Crossed. In it, the protagonist is drawing lines in the sand, quite literally, as a way of appropriating the idea of border creation, as a way to defend themselves and to establish boundaries. The protagonist is comprised of DNA. The protection of the cell membrane is represented here through the border creation. Finally, in ELA, I'm also presenting two photographic works which act as documentation of a performative practice that's ongoing. These images are part of a larger body of work consisting of photos of temporary installations that I've created as I've guided BIPOCs in the city and retelling their histories through their clothing. As we explored their closets and lives, photos of their faces and clothing were projected onto their beds and collaged with other items from their closet. It acts as a means of temporarily reversing erasure of BIPOCs in Austin's larger narrative and creating connectivity with our communities by engaging in each other's homes and our stories.
My name is Yareth Fernandez. I am originally from the Matamoros-Brownsville border. I currently live here in Austin, Texas. I currently focus in drawing, installation. I also do sculpture and public art. The piece for the ELA is a site-specific installation made out of mixed media. This installation is called Tesoros Nacionales, and in Tesoros Nacionales, I focus on the issues in the border, specifically with the border wall, and how that is creating a a lot of disturbance in the environment and in specifically organisms, but also it affects people. And so I relate that issue to what's happening right now in that there's a lot of things going on with what's essential and non-essential. And the border wall is something that it has never stopped being built, regardless of what's going on. There's a lot of people losing jobs and homes. And even though all of that is happening, the border wall is still continue to be built. Yeah, so something that I like to explore with this type of work that I've been working on for over a year is that there is that line of the border that we create between Mexico and the United States that we know as border. However, if we look at the ecosystems, the borders of the natural ecosystems, the man-made or the human-made border runs right through the middle of those. So, I mean, I think that the idea of border, it's completely made up and it doesn't really, it's probably why the border wall doesn't work at all, because there is no border.
Hi, my name is Hatziel Flores. I'm a self-taught artist from Dallas, Texas. I was first part of ELA 21. I'm very happy to be part of ELA 25. This year, it's very different, as you know, we are dealing with a pandemic, as well as political climate that's very different from what we're used to, and everybody's just trying to make sense of it. I'm very proud to be part of this show. I believe that this is a very different show. Here's a little explanation of my process and how I got to do those paintings. Thank you. The process takes a few months, from the very beginning of the concept all the way to stock images to the final product. I'm a traditional painter, oil on canvas. I usually create my own frames. This time was no different. Thanks to the studio and the Scissors Union, I was able to create this unique canvases for these paintings. And here's a statement for the paintings. We start with a prosperous time, led by the society that includes all people and cares about the future of our next generation. A moment of tranquility, where cultures accepted one another. This demonstrates can be seen as the calm in Mother Nature and its community. As an exchange of power began, it brought an incredible diversity start. With it, their media began covering their lies and hiding their information to meet their narrative of the truth. Keeping the veil between their audience, enabling them to see the whole picture. As the people lived in a state of bliss, stuck in an idea of what they believed to be true. Focusing on the distorted view created in lies and deceived by their leaders while the world is collapsing right below their feet. Their failure to acknowledge this has taken a toll on their communities, their environment, and in their lives, including their own. As we stand here among the rubble with our deceptions, still trying to rewrite the falsehoods, we can finally see the incredible depth of the root problem, and it goes deeper than we ever expected.
Hi there, my name is Suzy Gonzalez. I'm based in San Antonio, Texas. I'm a visual artist, an independent curator, a zinester or self-publisher, and an adjunct professor at Our Lady of the Lake University. So a little bit about my work and the work that you'll see in the Mexicarte exhibit. I analyze what it is to decolonize art and art history and consumption, and I think that also has a subjective kind of perspective into that. Through a Chicanx veganism, I find interest in the decolonization of diet or a desire to reclaim the pre-colonial plant-based nourishment of my ancestors. And so something that I've been using a lot for the past few years is the corn husk and using that with painting. So through painting, sculpture, and what I call mestiza media works, kind of a play on mixed media, I create figures that exist somewhere in the middle of social binaries. I relate each material to a part of my identity, recognizing when they stay separate or are mixed. So in this particular triptych of rain, sun, and cloud, I'm personifying the cyclical nature of water and our human relationship to the elements around us. So it reflects waves of emotion, of growth, of change that each of us is going through, whether it's in a day, throughout a year, or throughout our lifetime. The sun shines on the earth, evaporating the water. This might reflect nourishment, renewal. It could mean different things for different people. The water vapor then forms into clouds, right, through condensation, with feelings of fullness. Perhaps that's satisfying fullness, perhaps that's overwhelming fullness. And then finally, the water becomes so heavy that rainfall occurs through precipitation, through rain, signifying grief potentially, signifying any kind of release, and that also could have either negative or positive connotations there. And I think a lot of us think like nature is a thing we go visit, or nature is the thing we want to get closer to, forgetting that we are nature, we're a part of it, we're not separate. And so I think it's about remembering, reclaiming lessons that we have likely forgotten and that Mother Earth has to teach us. So I think it's time that we proactively make moves towards compassion, towards healing, to each other, to plants, animals, to the planet in this world that has been so full of destruction for so long. So thank you for listening.
Hi, my name is Pilo and I'm a Jellyfish Colectivo member. I'm living in Juarez, here in the southern border of US. It's the border between El Paso and Juarez, and born and raised in Ciudad Juarez, and lately I have like 6 years probably working in El Paso, crossing like every day. Start in graphic design when I was like 12 or 11 years, because my dad used to have a small like a screen printing workshop. So it was a small one there in our garage. And for Mexicarte, for this show, I create this piece about the bridge. And why about the bridge? Because I mean, it's something unique. It's something unique in the whole world. No, we have this. We need to cross this bridge to. Right when you cross the bridge, you're gonna be in downtown El Paso, and if you cross back, you're gonna be in downtown Juarez. So that's pretty unique and pretty amazing. And this is like a symbol for us. It's a symbol for the border, with all these like walls, borders, bridges, and things like that. Yeah, we can build a bridge, but the bridge is there, and we're connected through the bridge. But still, we need some papers, and still we have some things to do before to cross that, like free, you know. So yeah, I think it's a very strong like symbol here in the border. That's why I paint that, and I choose those colors because here I think Juarez and El Paso we have the most beautiful like sunsets here. So I think it's beautiful at the end. It's beautiful to live here with this complexity and with this like border like feeling, with this mix of culture, this hybrid between Mexicans, Americans, and languages and traditions and all that. It's like a mix here, and we create our own like flavor, no? So yeah, I think that's why I'm using the bridge as symbol in this piece, and I hope you like it.